Do you know what loss of use is for your property? Do you know what additional living expenses are for your claim if something should happen to your home or your building or your commercial property? We're going to talk about that today with Chris, the claims manager. He is here and he has no fear. Chris, welcome, my friend.
Oh, I love these two because I am the man behind the scenes, and so I
Yeah.
think my background being kind of the bat cave is just true of what I do every single day, just hammering away and talking on insurance adjusters. So,
Right.
anyway, but yeah, I think we've got an amazing topic that people just forget about all the time, like the
Yeah.
the insureds that file the claim, the contractors even. It's not really sometimes not up the wheelhouse, but
Yeah.
people just forget about this, and so that's why I want to bring it to your attention.
Right.
So.
So we got involved in a ranch that had a riding arena up in northern Colorado.
Mhm.
And there were horses that lived in there, for lack of a better term. And when the roof was being replaced, they had to be redirected and moved and boarded somewhere else off that property because there was, I think, like 24, 25 horses, something like that.
Yeah.
That there was a ton of horses that had to be moved. It wasn't just like, hey, one horse and move it. But it was
Mm.
a whole ordeal. And it took about 2.5 weeks for everything to be done, verified, and then everything to be cleaned up, right? Like nails and things like that everywhere. And
Mhm.
so all that stuff had to be cleaned, but then what happens? What happens to those expenses related to those horses that were boarded and housed in this first arena that then had to be moved to another arena? Chris,
Mhm.
how's that handled?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's in the policy, it should be covered. That's going to be your loss of use, additional living expenses. But if it's in your policy, it should be covered. And this is one that also is interesting too. And I'll put a question on for you, Taylor, is that
Yeah.
one of the horses that they moved actually got injured. And so if it wasn't for the move because of this claim, who's responsible for that horse's medical bill?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's a slippery slope, but ultimately for us, it's the but for doctrine. But for this loss, which is a covered cause of loss by the insurance company, that wouldn't have happened. But then where does that stop? So I guess I'd have to dig further into the policy to see what that looks like as far as
Mm,
liability that might become clear. Or if
mm,
it's unclear or uncertain, maybe you make that part of the claim and see what happens, right? The claim has
mm,
already been made. Additional living expenses, or in this case, for the horse arena, the loss of use kicks in because
mm.
they were using that and now they have additional expenses to what they normally have. How does
Mhm.
that come into play if it's more of a medical thing? But I don't know. I'd
Yeah,
see the policy and then dig into that. But for
sure.
me, if it's part of that loss and that came from that loss, unless
Mhm.
specifically excluded in the policy, I would at least bring that to the attention of the adjuster and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is why we think it should be paid for and see what happens.
Yeah, and when it comes to, we see this more and more when it comes to like pipe bursts and fire claims. People forget about this too. But I mean, you can't be in the house, like especially if it's doing a lot of testing, mold testing, abatement. You can't be there. And
Right.
so, where do you stay? And a lot of times, we've seen situations where they stay wherever and they just forget. Well, hold on a second, I'm staying over here now. That was my house. I'm still paying that mortgage every single month. Why should I be recouped for that? So
Yeah, yeah.
people just forget.
Yeah, and you absolutely should be reimbursed for that because you're accumulating additional living expenses. And that's what that is,
Correct.
ALE, additional living expenses. You are now taking on more expenses than you would normally
Hmm.
because of the loss that is covered by the insurance company. Make sure you have the coverage that you need in your policy, because if you do, then we can help you get a full and fair settlement. Bellatorclaims.com. We're here to help you if you're a commercial property owner, you're a municipal building risk manager, if you are a school district, if you have an industrial building, if you have medical buildings and or HOAs, we are here to help you. That's what we do every single day. And dang it, we're pretty freaking good at it. Our numbers speak for themselves. Bellatorclaims.com. Would you help us? We'd be honored if you would subscribe to our channel. Okay. You would like this video. You would comment
Do
on the
the
video, and then you would share it to the world because we're trying to reach 1 million people that are empowered by the information that we give to homeowners, commercial property owners, risk managers, property managers, and contractors alike. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.